Hey friends, I'm back with another acrylic art class. Welcome back to my channel. If you haven't ever been to my channel, Sunny Art Academy, welcome. Hit the subscribe button and don't miss any more acrylic painting classes, or watercolor painting classes, or kids classes. I've got it all. It is a channel for the whole family, and today we are going to be painting this green witch. It is acrylic paint on canvas. The canvas is 12 by 14. I thought something that would be fun before we get started is to show you some of the other variations of the witch from some of my other paint parties. Here are a few of the ideas, like you could do a teal witch with a purple background, or you could have a yellow background. This is also teal and pink with a yellow background. This one isn't finished yet. I think the rim of the hat is going to be black. In some of my smaller paint parties, I offered more than one idea for painting a witch. Like, here are a couple of other ideas. You could do a witch legs with a broom. So let's get to painting our witch. Hit the subscribe button, say thumbs up, and let's start painting. Hi guys, today we are going to be painting this picture of this witch. It's close to Halloween, and back when I was doing paint parties, this was one of everyone's favorite painting to create, so I decided to stick it up on my YouTube channel for all of you guys. All the paint that I'm using for this project is all Dick Blick acrylic. It's just the regular economy acrylic. Here's a list of the colors that I'm using, and I'm using a flat brush for the background and the large areas. I think it's about a 3/4 inch flat brush. And what I'm going to do is have the background is this green color, and then the witch is going to be, her face is going to be green. That will help the painting to have nice balance, and I love this green. I'm taking the phthalo green and the yellow. What is the yellow? The yellow is a chrome yellow, and what I'm doing is I got my yellow and I put yellow here first, and then I went into the green and I just got a tiny bit of the green. You don't need very much of the green to create this bright yellowy green. I don't know, it's called chartreuse, I don't know, apple green, and that's what we're going to use for the background. Now I've drawn onto this background with pencil, if you can see the pencil lines, to kind of give us an idea of where everything's going to fit. But I am going to paint right over the background. I will paint over all of the pencil line that I have on the background, so then the background's a little more even. The other thing that I do is I go in, and once I have paint onto my canvas, I may go back over to my green and maybe just get a tiny bit of the green, and I'm going to add a little bit of the green just to give it some variety, a little variety, so it's not completely, thoroughly, exactly the same color of this this apple green or this yellow green. That I like having a variety of color. I love having a variety of color in the background of my paintings. It gives it so much more interest. I am going to go right over the, I mean, you can paint right up to the pencil line for the hat. You can go over it because, you know, the hat's going to be a black hat. So this pencil, I mean, this color, this yellow color, black will paint right over it. So it's no big deal if you paint right up and paint over the edges of your hat. That's actually a good thing. And we will go back over it later with black. Now I'm also going around the edges. While I have this paint on my brush, I'm doing the edges. This is a gallery wrapped canvas, and it's kind of cool because then you can put You can just, you know, put your hardware right here, you know, or you're going to put a loop here and a loop here, and then you're going to put a wire on here and hang it up. Or you can put it on an easel. I have a lot of my paintings on little easels around my house. So I always paint all the way around the edges. Now, let's see. I'm also, this green that I'm using, I'm also going to take this green and I am going to, she's going to be green. So I've almost run out of that light green that I want. Sometimes I go in with a little spray bottle and squirt it, just keep everything nice and damp. And the reason why is because it's acrylic paint. Acrylic paint will dry out really easily, so you need to keep it moist. Once it dries out, it is made of plastic, so it just becomes plastic and you can't really do anything with it. So I'm going to go in here and create this green again with lots of yellow. And for her face, maybe I don't want to do this variety like I did in the background. Maybe I want to mix up enough where I go in and I paint her face the green that I want, and the whole thing is one color of green, and it doesn't have much of a variety. It makes her complexion look a little better. She has a green complexion. Anyway, so yeah, so I go in here. So what I'm doing is I'm adding this green, and I'm not doing a variety on her face, because you could, but I'm not. And so there's the green that I want for her face and for the background of this painting. Okay, so the next step, I'm going to go in and paint. I don't normally use black in any of my paintings, just to let you know. But this is going to be a black hat. I'm going to go in at this point and add black and paint the hat, because I'm going to paint around the hat. Then I'm going to go back and create once it dries, I'm going to go back and create all these patterns and fun things decorating the hat. So I'm going straight in there. I've cleaned my brush with water and then wiped it on a paper towel. Then I went in and got the black, and I'm going in and I'm painting this hat. Now I might want to go and I might want to get a little bit of water from my water container. Here's my water container. It's green from the other color. Anyway, so I'm going to go in and get a little bit of water to smooth out this black. You really don't need a lot of black, but you need enough to smooth on and go ahead and paint this black hat. And I'm going to paint around the edges just like I did before. And I got to figure out how far down do I want this hat to go. This is where, even though you've put pencil lines on there and you go, well, I don't really like those pencil lines, maybe I want the hat to cover her face more. This is where you go back with paint. You don't have to go right up to there and go, oh, I can't go over that pencil line. Actually, you can with your black paint. So if you want, to make your black hat a little different, once you've seen maybe somebody else's hat, or when you did the pencil line, you weren't really, excited about where you put the pencil line, that's where you can go in and you can change by just adding paint on top of that pencil line. And that's what we're doing. Going in here. And I love this big old black hat. Big old black hat on her. Now, what I might want to do is I want to know where the brim of the hat meets the other part of the hat. So I'm not going to paint Here I've painted all this black. I'm going to stop right here and not paint above this completely, because black is going to cover up your pencil lines. I'm going to use my brush. Now the brush I'm using is a flat brush. And if you look, if you have a really good flat brush, there has a straight line. I'm going to go in here and I am actually going to use my brush to create lines in paint so I know where I'm going to change up and decorate the top of this hat. Now some of the hat is going to be black, but I'm going to use my brush, the side of my brush, to create these lines and come down and create the lines in here to show where I want to decorate. Now some of this is going to be black. I may use a different brush, something smaller, to do the details. Like that. I'm trying to figure out how I want to do this part over here. What does a hat look like? I don't know. Maybe I need to go out like that more. But how about that? Okay, the top of this hat is going to be black. So I don't know how. This is still very wet. But I am going to fill in the top of this. That is going to be black. Ah! See, this is where I need a smaller brush. That's okay. It's all good. Let's make it a little larger over here. No big deal. Okay, so let's see. Maybe I want black hair. I'm trying to just kind of want some purple in here. Maybe she'll have black and purple hair. Because I want some purple on here. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to do this. Maybe I want orange. I don't know if I want orange. Anyway, so here's some black hair. I don't know exactly how I want to do it yet. Haven't decided. I may go back over it. Okay, so while all of that is drying, we can go in and paint her lips. This is where we have to decide, do we want to add orange and have orange lips, and we have orange up here? Do we want her lips to be red and we want to add red, or do we want like a hot pink? You know, this is where we get to choose what is the next step, what is the next color we want to add in there. For some reason, I really want to do some sort of hot pink, maybe. This is magenta. This is a magenta color. I also am cleaning my brush. Remember that when you use black, if you do not clean your brush really, really, really good, then you're going to pick up black in every color that you use after that. So make sure you clean your brush really, really, really good. And clean it, make sure that when you wipe it on a piece of paper towel, that there's no black on that brush. Alright, so what do I want? I don't know if I want like a little bit of, I'm going to try to come up with like a, now I'm just trying to mix up some colors, figure out what color I want to use for my project here. I really like some hot pink in here. So, and the other thing about it is the Dick Blick that I'm using is the magenta paint, not the fire red. Fire red is not going to get the pink color that I'm trying to get. Magenta mixes better and comes up with the paint color that I want. This pinky color. It just works better. So I'm going to try this and see if I like it. If I don't like it, then I can go back and maybe find another color or add a little purple to it. Yeah, I like magenta. Magenta color, oh, I just love the color of magenta. At this time, I am using a smaller brush. As you can see, it's a number 6 or a number 8 round. Oh, I love that color. This is exciting. This is totally working the way I want it to. Yay! Let's see. I want to go in here and add magenta in. And remember, anytime you add a new color to a composition, whether it be a painting or anything else, you always want to add it at least 3 times. So we have this hot pink, which is absolutely gorgeous. Now we want to make sure we add that hot pink at least 3 other times in this painting. So the other thing that you have to be really careful with is if you pick up black, the black will smear into your color and you will not have a very pretty color. So something I do a lot of times is before I continue painting, I get out a hairdryer and I will dry my painting really good so I'm not picking up this black paint. So that's probably what I'm going to do next. Let's get out the hair dryer and I'll be right back. I went and got my little hair dryer and now I'm going to dry. I don't know if you can see the wet paint on here, but because we put black on our painting, I don't know if you can see how shiny it is, it needs to be dried really good. So I'm in here going to dry this real quick. Now that I've dried everything, I mean, the thing about it is with the black, and when you put the black down, you need to really make sure it's dry, because if you pick up the black, I don't know if you see this, if you're painting along with another color and you touch the black, I don't know if you can see this right here, I touched the black and it pulled the black into my other color. So you got to make sure that that doesn't happen, and in order to do that, you can dry your canvas and then continue painting. So let's see, what else do I want in here? I wanted to have, maybe this is going to be all pink. And it's good to have, I mean, something I'm doing is I'm painting another layer on top of the layer that I already had. And what happens is it makes it more of a solid pink color. I may go back in and put some highlights in her mouth. Maybe, you know, little highlights and everything for her mouth. I'm also going in here and filling in the pink that, you know, you can see the white canvas. So I'm going to go in and fill it in with the pink. And try not to pick up the black. I just picked up more black. And if you see what happens, it picked up the black. It's now on my brush. I'm going to need to clean my brush, or I'll be pulling that black into my pink, and I really don't want that to happen. If you do, that's cool. That could be shading. You could do it with do some shading with it. That's not really what I want to do with my painting. So I went in and cleaned my brush, and then I can go back in and pick up whatever paint I want to pick up. I'm trying to think of what other colors I want to put in this. I'd kind of like to do a blue. So I'm going to see what color blue I want. I'm not really sure. This right here is phthalo blue. And phthalo blue with a little pink may be the color that I'm, the blue that I'm looking for. But I'm not real sure that's the blue I'm looking for. I kind of want it to be more of a, you see I'm mixing, I got a little bit of white, and I'm mixing this up, and that's not really the blue I want. I went in and got a tad bit of green to kind of make it more of a It's a tilly blue, just a different type of blue, different color of blue. So now that I have this, I'm going to put a little bit of water on it, keep it nice and thin. I'm going to go in and I think I'll do this blue. I don't know, I may go back and change this now that I'm working on it. Maybe I have a circle that's blue. I may go back and add black and maybe some white to highlight. Maybe I'll have pink on the inside. Not really sure how I'm going to do it yet. And as you can see, there's green underneath this. So I'll probably have to put more than one layer. I may go back and put more black on top. I'm not really sure how I want to do it. There's just so many different ways to do it. I can't, you know, you have to play around with it, see what you like, and put on what you like, the colors that you like. The everything can be different. Kind of want the background to be black. Maybe I want to go in with green. I still have this green mixed up. My green dried up, so I'll have to make some more. Yeah, I have to have white. Okay, so I made it a lot lighter, and then it's going to dry. I'll be able to put a different color on top of it. I picked up some blue. Don't know that I want it to be blue, but I'm going to put this white on here. I'll go back once it's dry and I'll put green on top of it. Alright, I need to get in here. I think I want more black into it. I'm going to go in and paint in between here. I'm painting around these shapes because I'm going to fill those shapes in with white and then with a color. I want to get black in the background here a little bit. Okay, while this is drying, I want to add like some purple background right here. Maybe have a little purple in her hair. I also want to bring some purple up into the hat, maybe even to the background. We haven't started on the background yet. We're trying to let everything dry. So while this is drying, I think that I'm going to mix up some purple. So I got this blue. It was the phthalo blue. I'm going to stick it over here. You're going to pick up just the blue by itself. And then you're going to go into your magenta and you're going to mix this. And I know you go, ooh, that's not very pretty. It's too dark. That's when you're going to go into your white. And we're going to, that may have, obviously it has too much blue. So we're going to go in and get more magenta to make more purple. A better purple. Yeah, I'm not really crazy about that purple. What other colors do we have? Also have another blue. It's called ultramarine blue. So let's try ultramarine blue and magenta and see if it makes a better purple. So I'm grabbing the ultramarine blue. I'm sticking it right here. I'm going into my magenta, stirring it up. I think it's a better purple already. Still a little dark. So I'm going to go into my white and add. Whew. I got too much white. And now we're going to have a ton of purple. That's kind of what happens sometimes. When you're mixing paint, before you know it, you have this huge pile of paint. And what to do with it? Shoot. It's really not even the color that I want either. Buy purple. Another way of doing it is just to go buy a tube of purple and squirt purple out. Yeah, because that's not really the purple I want. I don't really know. I'm mixing these colors up with this Dick Blick paint. I'm not really getting the color I want. Now I have this massive amount of purple I don't know what I'm going to do with. So frustrating when stuff like that happens. I don't really like that purple. It's kind of frustrating. So magenta and ultramarine makes a better purple. So magenta and ultramarine makes a better purple, because that's a better purple right there. I need to make sure that we do white. And we're gonna grab the white. Okay, we're gonna grab the white and we're gonna paint over these circles with white. So then you can go back and we can maybe add maybe a different color on top of that circle. So an easy way of doing that, I'm using this little brush. It might be easier to grab your larger brush and dip into your white. If you have a little bit of color on it, that's okay. And we're going to create these circles. We want to cover up these circles with white paint. So then when we paint a color on top of them, the white, the paint will show up better. If your brush is just too big, then you can use the smaller brush. I mean, a lot of times I have 3 different size brushes when I paint. Look and see if I have a different one. Well, I have one right here that's a little bit smaller. Maybe I'll use it. The other thing is, it's not good to leave your brushes in the water. So you clean your brush, and then dry it out on a piece of paper. Because if you leave your brush in the water, there's glue inside here that will start, I guess it gets wet, and then all the bristles start coming out. And then you also, if you get paint and wet water and paint up into the barrel, this is the barrel of the paintbrush, what happens is not only will the bristles of the brush will fall out, you'll also not be able to get a very straight edge anymore. I'm trying to find one maybe. Here's a good example of one that's super old, and no matter what I do, I can't get a good edge on it because water and paint have gotten up into this barrel. But I've had this forever. This paintbrush, I don't know, it's called University Windsor. It's a Winsor Newton brush. I've had it forever, and I still use it because I probably had it for 25 years. But as you can see, it's very difficult to get, even if I get it wet, it's very difficult to get it to go into this, you know, squish together so I can do a straight line, even though it's almost the same type of brush. So that's what happens when paint and water, and you leave it in, and you know, there's acrylic paint that's gotten down in here. I didn't clean it good enough, and so that's what happens to your brush. Okay, I found a smaller brush, and it has paint all over it. I'm going to try to use this brush. This is a filbert brush, and I'm going to use it. It kind of has a round tip instead of a square. I'm going to go in with my white paint and fill in these circles that we're going to paint over in a few minutes with the different colors. And if you're using paint that's really thin, it's possible that you need to paint over them more than once. Because the paint may have more water in it, and then what happens is the paint will, it's not as opaque, and the green will continue to show through. So you might want to go back over it once it's dry a little bit and put another coat so the white part is just more opaque white. And then we're going to let that dry. And while that's drying, we can paint down the bottom of the painting. I love polka dots. I love polka dots. So, okay. So if there's areas in here that got covered up with black, you're going to want to go back over it with white, just like you did up here. So then when we add color, you can see the color. So I'm putting another coat of white. And this is a pretty big brush to be doing this with. But I'm going to go back over this. It's supposed to be a moon. And the switch could be a little might be a little challenging here. Okay, so I've gone in here with this. I wanted to add black down here. I guess I could go on and do that while this is all drying. I'm going to finish up her hair, and how I'm going to do that is I want a lot of her hair to be black. I have this purple, which is fun. You have purple highlights. I probably will go in afterwards and add white after it's dry. I'm going in, since we're using purple, I'm going in and getting a little bit of purple, a little bit of black, and kind of mixing them a tad so there's a little gray, and it's not just solid black. See, and when you use black, it just covers up everything, so you have to be really careful that that's one of the last things that you do is go in with black and paint with black. It just covers everything up. So I'm hoping that you guys can see that I'm adding a little bit of I'm going in and getting the black, I'm adding a little bit of this purple that we were using. So then when I paint, you have more than one color on the hair. Because black just takes over everything. You have to be really careful with black. I'm going to go in here and finish this up. And then I'll go back, once it dries, we can go back and add streaks of white and maybe other purple to make it look more like hair. So very, 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 very important thing is once you have used black in your paintbrush, you've got to clean it out really, really good before you use any other color. I'll go in here and I'm going to clean it really, really, really good. And you got to make sure there's no black. Once you've gone in and you've really worked hard to clean it, you test it, make sure there's no black in your paintbrush. Okay, so the next step, I'm going to go in here and put colors in here. We're going to do, we're doing purple and we're doing pink. So this purple is still mixed up, I'm going to go in and create, put some purple in here. Okay, let's see. If you love what you see, hit the button below, subscribe today. Still very wet, white. I think I need to go in and dry with a hair dryer a little bit more so then we can finish up the painting. Okay, we're back. One thing that I like to show people is you can take the back of a brush and do perfect little circles. So what I'm doing is I'm getting the back of the brush, I am dipping it in my paint. So then there's a lump of paint on the end there, and then you can go in here and add a dot, and it's more of a perfect circle. So you can do that with any color that you want, and it's awesome to be able to do that. So then your circles are more precise. If you want little dots on your painting. Like that. Make sure you wash it off really good or you can get it all over your hands. Now that I'm down to the end of the painting, I go back over some of the other paint that's on there. I may need another layer of on the white or the green or the blue, and that's what I'm doing now. So what I'm doing right now is this white has dried and I'm going back over it because I wanted it to be a brighter white. So anytime that you have white and you're painting white on top of another color, the other color is going to show through most likely. So I'm going back over and I am going back over the paint that I'd already put down because I want this white to be a little brighter. Just like that. I really don't like the way those look, so I'm going to paint over them in white. And then once it dries, I can put a color on top of it. Same with this. It seems like it's just not white enough for me. So I want it to be white dots in the background. So then I can go in and put a color on top. So now I'm going to go in and add a few more highlights and then work on the white circles. Add some purple to the white circles and decorate them. When I add blue highlights or green highlights, I make sure that I add white to my blue or green, so then the color will really pop off of the page or pop off of the canvas, especially on this black hat. You screw that brush up. I mean, you should have washed all that stuff. Karen. That didn't get washed good enough. And now I've picked up an even smaller brush. The bristles are very short, but there aren't very many. It's probably a number 2 brush. It's sort of like a liner brush. And I am putting on the final touches. Have to be finished. Sorry about that. I just had a big party. This was so popular. Oh my gosh. This was so much fun. Oh my gosh. Wow, no drips. I hope you enjoyed painting this painting with me, and let's paint another one together. See you in the next video. And remember, you can overdo a painting, so you have to get to a point, say, okay, I'm finished. So, okay, I'm finished.